up? Yeah, whose funeral?
My character, his name is Sugar. You know, Sugar's more of the, you know, he's the villain's right-hand man. You know, we conjure this thing about robbing his bank, and then, you know, there's two other characters that we feel like would be the perfect, you know, you could say, scapegoats for us to get to where we need to go. And I pretty just make sure just everybody's in line doing their job, you know, there for Sugar, watching his back, and eventually watch everybody's back, because eventually we all become a team to go to that one thing. But I'm more of the quiet guy, don't talk much, and always handle my business, basically.
Come on, man, you heard him. Give me the keys. Fucking amateurs.
Sorry, Jim.
And you know, Hayden had done a film a few years ago called Takers. It was a bank heist movie as well, and he had acted in that with you know, several musicians. And when we were talking about the role of Sugar and the potential of having a musician play that role, Эйкон was very early on pitched by his agent.
С Эйконом мы встречались в Лос-Анджелесе, он был как раз после Хейдена первый, кто подключился к проекту. Как я понимаю, ему уже нечего доказывать в той стези кому-то. И он принял предложение играть в кино, то есть мы встретились, и он сказал, да, я хочу, ну, играть в таком кино.
And we, you know, got to see a little bit of the work that he had done in the past, and having seen him now act, he's a scene stealer. I mean, he's good in everything. He's like really a pleasure to watch. So much so that we're trying to find more things for him to do.
Eikon is a force of nature. You know, we were all really happy to get him involved in the movie. But I think, I mean, myself, I was really blown away the first time I saw him on camera. He's really interesting to watch, and just has a natural presence about him. He's just very natural on camera.
There's really no challenges, man. You know, everything that I thought would have been hard was actually very easy, you know, because when I first came into acting, I thought I would have to memorize lines. You know what I mean? Like, that's the craziest thing, like, man, so many lines, I'm gonna memorize everything. But then you realize once you get on set and you're like locked into that character, them lines just come automatic.
Hey. I'm a free motherfucker. I'm a free motherfucker. What up, man?
What up, Frankie?
What up, Sugar? Yeah, Frankie's back, baby. Frankie's back.
No, actually, man, I was surprised, you know, to be on the set, you know, with Hayden, Christian, Tori. You know, I mean, those guys are just very amazingly, like, great actors. And this is something that I always wanted to do, I mean, forever. So to be taking, you know, tips from these guys, watching them at work, you know, taking a piece of that and just kind of, you know, just sitting back being a student of the art. You know, those guys, I mean, you got Oscar-winning actors, man. Like, not too many people come in and right off the bat start working with guys like this. So it was definitely an honor, you know.
A great white shark, a stake to claim in the waters off Amity Island.
We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
I worked on the shark and then operated the shark. I did a lot of underwater work. I'm a scuba diver as well. We had a miniature shark that was just the shark head, where they'd get camera angles of the shark head, and I was the diver that would operate it. I did a lot of work, a lot of different things on that. We had the scene where they're at the beach and they tell everybody to get out of the water. Remember the shot, and there's kids, but then 5 minutes later the real shark fin goes by. Well, I was operating that shark fin.
If food don't kill you, the service will.
Nightmare 4 and Nightmare 5 are two movies I worked on. And one of my fondest memories is seeing Robert Englund at a beach location we were at. We had finished shooting for the day, and he's in his full makeup with his Freddy Claw and his hat and his face in makeup, walking back to his trailer, and he's surrounded by like 20 little kids, like 5 and 6-year-old, 8-year-olds, all coming with him, like it's Freddy holding his hand and everything. They just loved him. They loved him. And then the other story was the first time I saw him, I was really in awe. The first time I saw him in makeup, it's a night shoot, And I saw him do Freddy for the first time, but in the movies they use a pitch transposer to change his voice. So everybody was sort of like, oh, it's kind of disappointing because it was just his regular voice. We were expecting to hear him talk like, you know, like Freddy, and he didn't. But he's a very nice man, Robert Englund. Very nice guy.
Molly, get out of the house!
She's not dead. It's a game. The only way to keep her alive, you do exactly what I say when I say it.
Oh, we were on 12 rounds, and it starred John Cena, and they partied like rock stars the whole time. And they did this shot where they would light it on fire, and they'd put their hand over the top of the shot glass, and it would suction onto their hand after they put it out, and he would smell the aroma, and then he would shoot it. And the residual that was left in the glass, he would turn and pour it into a shot glass that was upside down, only to lean over and snort the residual liquor. And of course it would burn their nasal passages. And 2 years goes by and I work with John Cena again, and I asked him if he still did those shots, and he goes, oh, everybody in the wrestling world does them now, only it's called a flaming midget now. Because one of their wrestlers set himself on fire while trying to do the flaming midget.
What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour!
That was sort of, I just worked like a week on that show. I was working at Universal at the special effects department at Universal, and it was a Universal picture. And they were having trouble. Mike Lanteri was the guy who coordinated, who was the special effects coordinator on that show, and they were having trouble with the fire. And a couple of guys in the shop knew about this product called Hydrofire, and I knew about it as well. And we did some experiments, and we showed Lanteri, he liked it. He showed the director, they liked it. And we made a unit that went in the car that dropped the Hydrofire, and then basically once the car went out of frame, just took a torch and lit it. And the best gags are simple. The complicated ones look mechanical, but the simple ones usually look great.
I mean, that was very early on in my career when I first moved to LA. There was a brief period of time before I started producing, 15 years ago. I was shooting this music video in Los Angeles, and it was one of those music videos that has like a story to it, and it's for a band called Creed. So we were shooting in this alleyway between this church and whatever this other building was, and I was supposed to be playing this strung-out heroin addict that was, hallucinating these bugs being all over him. So we had this bug wrangler who had covered me with crickets, I think it was, and so the director had just called cut. I'm trying to get like the rest of these bugs off me, and the church that was right next to us was, it turned out, where they were shooting Fight Club. And so Brad Pitt opened the door and walked out. He sees me getting the bugs off me, and he like lights up a cigarette, on a smoke break, and he looks at me and he's like, "One day, kid." I was there with my bugs.